5 days. That's all it took for an open-source AI agent to go viral, implode, rebrand twice, and accidentally pump Cloudflare stock by 25%. Meet OpenClaw and 60,000 GitHub stars in less than a week. But while the internet was distracted by the viral hype, Cloudflare was quietly positioning itself as the invisible backbone behind this movement. Today, we're cutting through the noise to see what they're actually building and how much of the $52 billion AI agent market they're poised to capture. First, let's define the tech. If an LLM is a thinker, an AI agent is a doer. OpenClaw isn't just a chatbot, it lives inside your apps, WhatsApp, Telegram, iMessage, and actually executes tasks. But here's the detail that caught Wall Street's attention. OpenClaw runs on Cloudflare Workers. This was the ultimate proof of concept. It proved that Cloudflare's edge infrastructure wasn't just for static websites. It could power complex, real-time AI agents at a global scale. That infrastructure play became crystal clear in November 2025, when Cloudflare acquired Replicate. This is a much bigger deal than most people realize. You write one line of code, and Replicate handles the heavy lifting. Replicate gives developers instant access to over 50,000 open-source AI models via a single API. That means no fighting with CUDA drivers and no managing expensive GPU clusters. Replicate is just one piece of a larger puzzle. Cloudflare has been on a precise acquisition spree, securing every component needed to dominate the future of AI infrastructure. Take Human Native, their AI data platform for training and fine-tuning. It allows enterprises to inject their own private data into models, a non-negotiable requirement for any serious corporate AI agent. Then there's the Astro framework, which simplifies the build process. Better tools attract more developers, and more developers create a flywheel effect that's hard to stop. So let's look at the battlefield. You have OpenAI's Operator, Adept's Act-T1, Cognition's Devin, and Lindy. These are all incredible tools. But there's a vital distinction. Those companies are fighting for the application layer, the app. Cloudflare is building the infrastructure layer, the iPhone. It doesn't matter which app wins, as long as they all run on the same phone. Even OpenAI's Operator needs a place to run. It needs compute, storage, and ultra-low latency. If OpenAI becomes the Google of AI agents, they still need the roads and bridges to reach the user. That's Cloudflare. You might be thinking, can't we just use AWS? The answer lies in pure physics. AI agents are conversational. For that to feel natural, the response loop needs to happen in under 300 milliseconds. That is the biological threshold for instant. Here's the problem. If your agent is hosted in Virginia and you're in Tokyo, the signal has to travel 6,700 miles. At the speed of light, that's 72 milliseconds just for the commute. By the time you add processing and inference, you've blown past that 300 ms limit. Cloudflare solves this through brute force geography. They've placed compute within 50 milliseconds of 95% of the world's population. Your request doesn't cross an ocean. It goes to a server down the street. For real-time AI, this isn't a luxury, it's physics. But speed isn't the only hurdle. Agents need memory. They aren't stateless like a web page. They have to remember what you said 3 messages ago. Managing that state across millions of users is a nightmare on traditional, centralized databases. So, is Cloudflare essential? Technically, you could run agents on a centralized cloud, just like you could drive from New York to LA using only backroads. It's possible, but it's painful. Edge infrastructure is what makes AI agents actually usable. The obvious question remains, can't AWS, Azure, or Google just copy this? The short answer, not easily. First, there's the cold start problem. Cloudflare Workers use V8 isolates, which spin up in under 5 milliseconds. Benchmarks show Workers are significantly faster than AWS Lambda at the 95th percentile. For an agent that needs to feel alive, that latency gap is a deal breaker. Second is density. Cloudflare has nodes in hundreds of cities. AWS has only dozens of regions. To win at the edge, you have to be everywhere at once. Third is the cost. AWS could match this network, but it would cost tens of billions and take years. Cloudflare has been building this since 2009, and their capital structure, leasing space rather than buying land, is a massive advantage. Finally, follow the money. Hyperscalers thrive on centralized compute. Their business model depends on moving your data into their massive regional fortresses. edge computing actively cannibalizes that revenue model. This structural mismatch gives Cloudflare a wide opening. While the hyperscalers are optimized for the cloud era, Cloudflare is optimized for the agent era. So what's the prize? Projections put the AI agent market at $50 billion by 2030, growing at a staggering 46% annually. Infrastructure, the compute, storage, and orchestration, will likely capture 30 to 40% of that total. We're looking at a 15 to 20 billion slice of the pie. Cloudflare already handles 20% of all internet traffic. If they capture even 15% of the edge computing market, that's 2.5 to 4 billion in new annual revenue, effectively doubling the size of the company. The market is starting to price this in, but there's still room to run. Revenue growth is re-accelerating. They aren't just getting bigger, they're getting faster. When developers pick your infrastructure, enterprise deals always follow. We're already seeing the shift. 44% of finance teams are now actively using AI agents. This is no longer experimental. Major players like Wells Fargo and JP Morgan are moving to production, and Cloudflare is positioning itself as their default foundation. However, the risks are very real. The competition isn't sleeping. AWS has bedrock, Azure is aggressive, and while Lambda has flaws, it is deeply entrenched in the enterprise. Also, the stock is priced for perfection. The market has baked in a lot of this AI agent thesis already. If growth stumbles or the replicate integration gets messy, the valuation hit will be painful. Acquisitions are also notoriously hard to execute. Merging Replicate, Human Native, and Astro into one seamless platform is a massive engineering mountain to climb. But step back and look at the big picture. They have assembled the complete stack. Models, data, compute, and orchestration, all running on a global network that responds faster than you can blink. The bottom line, the agent market is sprinting toward 50 billion. Cloudflare has the edge, the infrastructure, and the acquisitions to own it. The question isn't if agents are the future, it's who runs them. And right now, Cloudflare is the only one building the full platform to make it happen. Let me know in the comments, have you tried to use an AI agent yet? Thank you for watching.